Manchester United have made a bid for Lille defender Leny Yoro that has been accepted by the French club. This is the breaking news reported out of France, confirmed by Fabrizio Romano. There is loads to get into here. What is going on? Will Manchester United sign Leny Yoro? And why, despite the fact that we've made a bid of 50 million quid, it's been accepted by the club, there's still reports that United won't be able to sign this guy. But will we? Let's get into this. Get into the comments. Let me know your thoughts on Leny Yoro, on the fact that United are moving heaven and earth to sign centre-backs. We haven't got any yet, and it looks like we could be on the verge of getting 3, although it might be 2 of the 3 that we seem to be going for that we end up signing. We reported this morning that Branthwaite and De Ligt were getting closer. Another bid in for Branthwaite that had been rejected. This is a bid that has been accepted for Leny Yoro by Lille from Manchester United. We'll get into all of the details as we go along. Let's first start off almost backwards order. This is the confirmation that we've been waiting for. The reports and rumours started around an hour or so ago, and obviously at that time you're hearing it from sources that we aren't quite as aware of, that aren't necessarily quite as reliable. It has then been reported and backed up by Fabrizio Romano. So let's have a look at this and then work our way backwards. Real Madrid remained very relaxed and calm on Leny Yoro case, even after the Manchester United bid. Real Madrid are aware of Yoro's preference to join them, deal to be done this summer at their conditions below 60 million euros, or happy to wait until July 2025. There's also another tweet from Romano that we'll get up in just a second as well that confirms the Manchester United bid. He sort of does it there. He said in a video this afternoon that Manchester United have had this bid accepted. It was then backed up with this tweet by Fabrizio Romano, sort of alluding to that fact and confirming it as well. There is another tweet from Romano, if we can get that up, Ethan. There you go. Manchester United formal bid worth over 50 million euros for Leny Yoro has been accepted by Lille today. Lille insisting with Yoro to accept Man United as it's the best proposal on their table. Like it says again, like confirming in the other tweet, Leny Yoro has always given priority to Real Madrid, waiting for them, decision up to Yoro. That line in the middle there, Lille insisting with Yoro to accept the United bid as it is the best proposal on their table. We need to get into 2 different things here. One is the player and what he would bring to Manchester United. And the other thing is the politics and the mind games and what it would mean to bring in someone who doesn't seem to want to join us. Because that's 2 different things, and one of them I thought we'd moved on from. I thought we were sort of better than this. I thought Ineos weren't going to be repeating the mistakes that we've seen from the De Ligt saga that we've seen. As it turns out, Di Maria didn't really want to be here. We've had other players as well where they turn up, reports start emerging that their family aren't happy, they never wanted to join, and they leave within a season or 2. Let's go back a little bit. This started a couple of hours ago, like I said, or maybe an hour or so ago, from a journalist reporter, Nabil Djellit, who said Manchester United have made a written offer for Leny Yoro of 50 million euros and bonuses accepted by Lille. It's clearly superior to Real Madrid's proposal, far from having finalised the deal. The player's priority remains Real, but United pushes. That was then, we're going to quickly dart through a few things here. Chris Wheeler, we mentioned him on the news again this morning from the Daily Mail, has reached out to Manchester United for comment on this. He says United not commenting on reports in France that a £42 million bid for Leny Yoro has been accepted. Player understood to favour move to Real Madrid. There we go. But the crucial thing there, United not confirming either way. Like we said at the start, Romano, of course, then confirmed it in his own way on his live stream, backing that up with a tweet as well. So it does look as though this has happened. Manchester United have had a bid accepted for Leny Yoro. The question is now, will Leny Yoro accept the bid? I mean, it's bizarre almost, and sort of shocking how competent United have been in this window. United are going after multiple targets at once. It looks as though Ugarte, Branthwaite, De Ligt and Yoro are all being dealt with, and Xerxes as well, at the same time. That's 5 different players that every other day we're hearing this guy's had a new bid, this one's been accepted, they're going to do the release clause on this guy fancies coming. Like, it seems like we're not just working on 1 transfer at once, or 2 or 3, we're working on 5 different deals at once here. This is what I expect from the biggest club in the world. Yes, we haven't signed them all yet, but each one is getting closer. Get your thoughts in the comments about the fact that he's so keen to join Real Madrid. Now, there's a report from Santi Auna, I'm hoping that I'm pronouncing that correctly, talking about the Real Madrid side of all of this. He says that Real Madrid has so far only made an official offer to Lille for 20 million euros, which is around 17 million pounds. Real confident, has the players' agreement and wants to take his time to complete the file. Manchester United sent a proposal of around 60 million euros, 50 million pounds, including bonuses to Lille. PSG and Liverpool have not sent an official offer. You can see why Lille want to sell him to us, can't you? 40 million euros difference in the offer. And one is an offer that is reflective of, we know he wants to join, and we're going to lowball it because you either accept 20 million now or we get him for free next year. And the other offer is a team who probably knows that the best way to get the player in Manchester United is by making his parent club convince him to join, because it helps them so much. Leny Yoro came through at Lille, unless I'm very much mistaken. He's only 18, so where else could he have come through? Leny Yoro came through at Lille. He was at Alfortville until 2012, and then Villeneuve d'Ascq after that. But for the last 7 years, he's been at Lille. So he came through at Lille. He might have some loyalty to them in terms of them getting an extra 40 million euro transfer fee. That would be pretty huge for Lille, doesn't it? Martin P, who's been around for 31 months. Get your thoughts in on this. Says, who doesn't want to sign for Real Madrid, but if the club doesn't match the bid, then he has to weigh up his options. Does it worry us at all that, we might be signing a player that doesn't really want to join us? Like, let's say he does join. Let's say Lille and United manage to convince him, you don't get your dream move to Real Madrid, maybe you can go in 5 years or whatever they say to him. But then he's playing for United, wishing he was at Real Madrid. Is that a consideration? When it's, minus 10 and you're playing at Brentford, do you think, this would be better if I was in Malaga right now, wouldn't it, playing against them? Will that be crossing his mind? Or maybe it won't be. Maybe that won't be a consideration. Maybe people have assessed this guy's character, and he's someone that if he makes that decision, he'll go 100% for it. But that to me is playing on my mind a little bit. I'm not sure I want someone who doesn't want to be here. We saw the same thing with De Jong. That is a bit of an issue. Ross Murphy says, I don't think this will happen. As much as I want him coming to United, you've got a player that wants to join Madrid. I don't think we should get him. Raul says he's confirmed in Madrid, but he's not, is he? Do you know what I mean? He's told them he would like to join, but it's not confirmed. So, anything can happen up until that point. Faraz Khan says, if this happens and we get De Ligt and Jared, we can sell Harry, Victor, and have 4 solid centre-backs to share the positions during the season. As with 4 tournaments, we will need 4 centre-backs. Stephen Morris says, this smells of De Jong, which, I don't know what that smells like, but I'm getting your point. Darko says, we could sell him in 2 or 3 years with 3 times his worth now. I mean, I don't think we should be buying players with the view to selling them for profit. Just as a general rule at Man United, because we are hopefully going to be giving players Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues in the next 5 or 10 years, rather than getting them to a certain point and letting them go elsewhere. But I do think that not every player who has joined every club wanted to go to that club. There are plenty of players who have been at clubs they didn't want to really be at. Maybe it wasn't their first choice. Do you think Tevez dreamed of playing for West Ham when he was a kid? No, but he was fantastic while he was there. Same with Mascherano when they both went to West Ham in that mad deal. They didn't dream of playing there, but they were brilliant. There's all sorts of players. Like, you look at some players that throughout history as well. Look at someone like Xabi Alonso. Played fantastically for Liverpool, for Real Madrid, and for Bayern Munich. He can't have been a fan of all of them growing up. He must have preferred the move to one or another. There are plenty of players who go around Europe playing for different teams. They can't all have been their favourite team. They can't have been a childhood fan of all of these players that they've played for. And yet, players will put in phenomenal performances. Do you think Cristiano Ronaldo was a Juve fan when he grew up? I don't. I don't even think he was a United fan. I think he was a Real Madrid fan who won the Ballon d'Or at Man United. So there is that case. Luis Suarez probably wasn't an Ajax fan or a Liverpool fan growing up. Still did a great job there. We've got to think about it. I mean, let's think anyone who played for Man City in the last 10 years didn't grow up wanting to play for Man City, did they? No offence, most of the players who have been top for Man City in the last 10 years probably hadn't heard of them growing up. Oh, Manchester, yeah, Man United, I love them. No, there's another club there that you're going to play 300 games for and get 200 assists, Kevin De Bruyne. Like, Leny Yoro may not have dreamed of playing for Man United, but that doesn't mean he isn't going to be a top player for us if we can convince him to join. You have to know more about a person's character, not just did they prefer Real Madrid. We know that he preferred Real Madrid. But will that mean, for some people, that would mean they're not going to put the effort in, they can't be asked in training, they're complaining to their agent, and it's a disaster of a move. But other people will go, actually, I'm only 18 years old, I can play 5, 6, 10 years at Man United and still go and have a decent career at Real Madrid. And maybe in the meantime, I might fall in love with this club. There's plenty of players who have fallen in love with and played fantastically well for clubs that they didn't dream of joining when they were a kid. And this guy is still a kid, let's not forget that. Oish says Zlatan has been everywhere. Exactly. And has he been bad for any of the clubs he's been at? No. I don't think he has. Man City catching strays. Well, you know what I mean, though. It's a good point, isn't it? Aguero didn't grow up dreaming of playing for Man City. And yet it didn't stop him scoring 250 goals for him, did it? But Balvinda says, bid has been accepted. It's up to Yoro now, the number 5 shirt or whatever he wants. Just a little bit on Leny Yoro, because we've spoken a lot about him as a person, but what about him as a player? So he's 18 years old. He's obviously a very, very promising young player out of France. 6'1", so not the sort of, not quite the same build that we've seen in the likes of Jared Branthwaite and even De Ligt, who is a much heavier sort of set kind of player. Leny Yoro is 18, which explains some of it, but he's a more slender, slim kind of young footballer in his appearance and in his stature. He's not a big guy like a Jared Branthwaite. Looking at his raw numbers, they aren't hugely impressive. In terms of his FB ref stats, his best attribute is his pass completion percentage, which is 92.1, but he's not known for his progressive passing. He's not known for his progressive carries. His tackling numbers aren't great. His blocks aren't very good. His clearances aren't very good. His aerial duels won aren't very good. And yet, he's considered one of the brightest young players in the world. His passing is where he excels. His short, medium and long range passing is all very, very good in terms of completed percentage. His like I said, his defending isn't particularly outstanding. But when you watch him play, he is someone that looks very, very good. He's someone that sort of defies the stats a little bit. And you have to remember as well, he's an 18-year-old. He's genuinely an 18-year-old kid, basically, who has played pretty much every game for Lille this season. He's played 44 times for them, 32 times in the league. Has been an absolute mainstay in that team this season. And, you know, if Real Madrid for him, he's not bad, is he? He's not bad. Liam Clark says, FB ref doesn't compare him to other centre-backs his age. Exactly. And that's what I'm trying to get across here. A catch-all stat for him versus everyone else in the world, or everyone else in Europe, isn't necessarily the best way to judge a player like Leny Yoro. Martin P says, what about Big Willie? Well, Willie Camboala, who I assume you're talking about there, can still make his way through if he's good enough. There's plenty of space at Man United to find a game or two here and there to show how good you are. I don't think this will get in the way of that. I just don't think it will. Hit the like button on this video if you're watching. If the video isn't at 500 likes yet and you're watching, hit the like button. Let's just go through what we've seen so far today. Then for anyone who's joined a little bit later, the first news came out of Nabil Jellit this afternoon, saying that Manchester United have had a bid accepted for Leny Yoro of 50 million euros plus bonuses. I believe that was since clarified to 50 million, including bonuses. Accepted by Lille. It's clearly superior to Real Madrid's offer, which again has since come out to be revealed around 20 million euros, which is 17 million pounds, which is, you know, a real take it or leave it. We'll get him next summer for free kind of offer by Real Madrid. Far from having finalised the deal, the player's priority remains Real Madrid, but Manchester United pushes. Then we saw Chris Wheeler reaching out to Man United for comment, which is always good to see, because United were probably never going to say, yeah, we're going to get him. But it's worth knowing what the club's position is. And the club's position wasn't to deny this bid, wasn't to confirm this bid. It was to reject to comment on this bid, which you can read that any way you want, but it certainly isn't them saying, no, this never happened. It says there, United not commenting on reports in France that a £42 million bid for Leny Yoro has been accepted. Player understood to favour a move to Real Madrid, with PSG and Liverpool also interested. United pursuing a number of centre-back options, including Branthwaite and De Ligt. We then saw Fabrizio Romano in his live stream confirm this news and follow that up with a tweet saying the same, that Manchester United's formal bid worth over 50 million euros for Leny Yoro has been accepted by Lille today. Lille insisting with Yoro to accept Man United as it's the best proposal on their table. Leny Yoro has always given priority to Real Madrid, waiting for them decision up to Yoro. Ensar with a super chat, and this is something I was just going to raise, so thank you for doing it for me. Says, Yoro bid is to push Everton to accept our offer for Branthwaite, lol. It could be, couldn't it? There's nothing quite like going, oh, will you go out with me? No, okay, I'll go out with this person. Actually, maybe we could go on a date. We're basically trying to two-time Everton here, aren't we? If you won't accept that bid for Branthwaite, we'll just get someone else. Because that could push Everton into doing some business with us. Especially, it's almost a free hit for United, this. If you're Dan Ashworth, and your priority is Jarrad Branthwaite, you're desperate for Jarrad Branthwaite. You've made a bid, it's been rejected. You've made a second bid, it's been rejected. Okay, we can't pay 70 million for him. We'll look like fools and he's not worth that. So we need to make Everton think we'll go elsewhere. Who can we go for? We don't want to make a bid for someone that, A, we don't actually think is good enough, because if they accept it, then we look silly. Or B, we can go for someone that basically wants to go elsewhere. So if we do make a bid, it can even be accepted and we still won't have to buy him. And we can come back in for Jarrad Branthwaite when Everton say, oh, actually, shit, Lille have accepted this. Maybe we should say 60 million all in and you can have Jarrad Branthwaite. Maybe something like that's going on. And if in the meantime Leny Yoro accepts your offer, which you didn't expect him to do, then you've got one of the most talented young centre-backs in the world anyway. It's sort of win-win for United, this. Either you use Yoro's interest in Real Madrid as sort of a wall that you can sort of pop bids up against, and in the meantime you get Branthwaite and Everton a little bit jealous, or you accidentally break that wall down and now you've got access to one of the best young centre-backs in the world. Win-win. I like this from Man United. Whether it's tactical, whether it's by accident, the way we're doing this makes a lot of sense to me. We go in for a Branthwaite, have a little bid there, gets rejected. Right, okay, now we're going to go for De Ligt. This was 2 weeks ago. First bid rejected. Okay, let's focus on De Ligt. Now that's settled. Okay, let's go back in for Branthwaite. That's been rejected. Okay, let's go in for Leny Yoro. We're seeing this sort of tactic repeated here by Manchester United. Is it on purpose? Is it coincidence? We'll only know at the end of the window when maybe we hear a little bit more about the methodology behind what we're doing. But either way, making people think that Branthwaite isn't the only option is a very, very smart thing to do by Manchester United. Do Dirk says, why are these clubs so hard on United? They always expect us to pay more. I'll go for Yoro over Jarrad all day long. Corin Varney says, would you take Chiesa for 20 million? No, I just don't think he's good enough. Martin P says, don't want the overhyped Branthwaite. Happy that they are clearly throwing bids to a number of centre-backs. Yeah, me too. I believe that. And it's clear that we're willing to spend somewhere in the region of £100 million on two centre-backs, isn't it? Or 100 million euros maybe. 43 or so, or 50 million euros on De Ligt. This bid is for 50 million euros-ish for Leny Yoro. We need two centre-backs, 100 million there, get that done for that. And if Jarrad Branthwaite's going to take that to 110, 120 million, we'll move on. We'll get someone else. And I personally, I respect that. Drew says he's 6'3" and 18. Okay, well, I think there's conflicting reports on his height, but also he's 18. So it's hard to know exactly how tall he is, when he was measured last, when it was. Probably still growing. But if he is 6'3", then, what I said before, maybe slightly out. Dan United 94 says, who's your preferred of all the linked players? I think getting De Ligt in as a base, as an experienced head to go alongside Lisandro Martinez, I think that's a fantastic signing. Start with that. He's well established. You know what you're getting. He raises the floor of the Manchester United starting centre-backs, and he's a fantastic player. On top of that, let's take a risk on a 22-year-old Jarrad Branthwaite or an 18-year-old Leny Yoro or whoever else it may be around Europe. Someone who is inexperienced, who you can get in on probably £150,000 a week, sort of at the lower end of that kind of starting salary for Man United. And build a proper team of centre-backs around that. You've got the experience of Maguire. It looks like Lindelof's going to leave. You've got that, not just experience, but the experience of winning the Premier League, the experience of what Man United is as an organisation, of Johnny Evans as well, which I think will be crucial, especially for the likes of Willy Cambuala, potentially Leny Yoro or Jarrad Branthwaite. But for me, it starts with signing De Ligt. Get a 24-year-old with 350 games experience for Ajax, Bayern Munich and Juventus. That is unheard of for less than 50 million quid. What's not to love about that? He's not the most sort of hard in terms of being able to deal with injuries. But his injury record isn't terrible by any means. He's hardly a Ben Chilwell or a Reece James. He's someone that has had a few injuries here and there, but regularly plays 40-game seasons. He's played 50-game seasons as well in the last few years. He's not someone that is on the recovery table every other day. He's someone that has had a bit of a rough season with injuries, but generally speaking, is pretty average in terms of his injuries. I think De Ligt is a fantastic signing. Drew says De Ligt is a real leader as well. Exactly. He brings so much for that price. Like, unheard of for that price, in all honesty. Ant L says, Joe, captain of Ajax, 18 years old too, has won titles at every club he's been with, massive leadership skills, completely agree. Leny Yoro could learn a lot from, 1, De Ligt, 2, Lisandro Martinez, 3, and people may mock this and laugh at this, in terms of what it is to be a Premier League defender, in terms of what it is to be in control of the box aerially, he can learn a lot from Harry Maguire as well, as much as people want to laugh at that. And he's not, tactically as astute as you might get from a Leny Yoro or whatever. But in terms of shepherding a defence aerially, there aren't many better in the world. And of course, he can learn a lot from Johnny Evans as well. I like the sort of the roster of centre backs that we're building. If you'll sort of put it all together, I think it's a really, really strong lineup if you could get one of Yoro or Branthwaite in there. Nicky Serve said, should we prefer a left-footed centre-back to cover Martinez? I believe Jared Branthwaite is either left-footed or so good with his left foot that he might as well be left-footed. I think he ticks that box. Matt Wick says, what have we said to Leacher amidst all of this? I can only guess. He's still starting for us. He would still be starting for Man United. Just because you've got three good centre-backs, that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. I said it on the news this morning. United need 3 good centre-backs if we're going to compete at the top level. Because if any of them get injured or just need a rest, it's like we've forgotten that you can rest players. When Rashford and Bruno were bagging all the goals and assists a couple of years ago, they just played every minute of every game they're available. Because United were only ever 1 goal in the lead. You can't risk taking your best players off. In a dream world, and I know we may have forgotten this as United fans, you can actually be 2 goals up in a game, 3 goals up in a game, and rest players. I know, it's crazy. One day we'll do it. When we're scoring more than, 51 goals in the Premier League or something last season, when we're up maybe 60, 70 goals, 80 goals, God forbid, you can actually take players off and rotate. It is mad, isn't it, how little we've been able to do that. But I said this, I think I said it yesterday, or maybe it was the news this morning. If we have 3 centre-backs, Branthwaite, Martinez, De Ligt, or Yoro, Martinez, De Ligt, I can guarantee all 3 of those will play at least 35 games if they all stay fit next season. That's how many games United will be playing. We need at least 3 very, very good centre-backs. Vegan Real says, Leny Yoro and Martinez pairing could be fire, very complimentary. I completely agree. The issue is, will he accept coming to England from Gayan Oates? He might not. But stranger things have happened than, a French player joining an English club. He may want to go to Real Madrid, but very much in the way, look at Bellingham's trajectory, look at Haaland's trajectory, even look at Mbappe's trajectory. Bellingham wanted to go to Real Madrid. Haaland, everyone says, has wanted to go to Real Madrid since he was a kid. Mbappe wanted to go to Real Madrid. They all took moves to other clubs before that final move. Cristiano Ronaldo, the same. They all took a move before. Two of them went to Dortmund, one of them went to PSG. There's no reason we can't convince Leny Yoro, come to Manchester United for 5 years, win us a league, win us a Champions League, become the player that you look like you can be. We'll pay you well. We'll still probably win trophies because, generally speaking, United win at least with trophy every 5 years, if not more. And hopefully that's only going to go up. Let's win some trophies. Let's establish you as the player that we think you can be. And then if Real Madrid come back in a few years, maybe you can leave then. But for now, come to Manchester United and prove yourself to be the player that you think you are, rather than going to Real Madrid, you're 18 years old, maybe have a couple of bad games, it doesn't work out. Next thing you're on loan at Getafe, and you might be looking for a club that's halfway down the league rather than fulfilling your dream at Real Madrid. There's plenty of players who've gone to Real Madrid with a dream and ended up leaving in a season or 2. That's going to be all from us this afternoon. Manchester United have had a bid accepted for Lille defender Leny Yoro. as it stands, Yoro confirms, or Yoro believes, that Real Madrid would be the ideal place for him. But to do that, that would mean either Lille accepting a bid that is around a third of the 60 million euros that United have bid, or waiting for another full season at Lille. Hopefully United can convince him to come to Old Trafford in the meantime. This has been Stretford Paddock. Hit like on the video if you haven't already. Another bid for another centre-back. United are going absolutely crazy this summer. We'll see in a bit.